Well, good morning, everyone, and welcome to our Tours at 10 here at the Bennington Museum. My name is Joshua Torrance, and I'm the executive director here. We're so excited that you can join us, and today we're in the Early Vermont Gallery. One of the things that I think is so cool about Vermont is that, like Texas, Vermont was briefly an independent republic. The land was claimed by both New York and New Hampshire. New Hampshire's loyal governor began issuing grants despite the conflict, and the first settlers arrived in 1761. New York soon reasserted its claim of ownership, and with the support of King George III. In 1977, leaders in Vermont declared the region an independent republic, calling it Vermont from the French words for green mountains. Vermont retained its independence until 1791, when it joined the new American nation as the 14th state. So here in this gallery, we celebrate that history and also the craftsmanship and legacy of craftsmanship and fine decorative arts and paintings here in Vermont. Joining me on today's tour, of course, is my cohort, Jamie Franklin. So we're going to take a little bit of an unusual tour today. In the brief couple minutes we have, we're going to break the rules. That's right, your director and chief curator we're going to break the rules. By that I mean we're actually going to try to show you some of the inside things of the objects here in the collection that if you're regularly on tour you can't see. Just be mindful that we are wearing gloves and we're taking all the proper procedures to protect our artifacts, but we thought today we'd just show you some of the things that you can't normally see as you go on the tour. So here's my cohort, Jamie Franklin. What are we going to look at first?
Well, one of the first things you see when you come into the gallery is this wonderful bookcase and globe, which was created by James Wilson. James Wilson was from Bradford, Vermont, up on the northeastern section of Vermont on the Connecticut River. But James Wilson was the very first person to commercially make globes in America. And so this is one of his early globes, and his bookcase with the encyclopedias that he used to learn the geography and other information that he needed in order to make his maps and globes that he then commercially manufactured and sold, first in Bradford, Vermont, and eventually his sons moved to Albany, where they continued making globes into the 1830s and 1840s. This is Josh looking at one of the original volumes from James Wilson's encyclopedia, set of encyclopedias, Encyclopedia Britannica, from the 18th century. He was using these to teach himself the information he would need in order to make these globes, the very first commercially manufactured globes in America. One of the other highlights here in our early Vermont gallery, as Josh mentioned, is craftsmanship, and particularly furniture making. So here we have a chest of drawers, which is attributed to a craftsman by the name of George Stedman. And Stedman was known for manufacturing these chests, which are known as Bombay. And Bombay is a term to refer to these chests that have this kind of curved outline to their silhouette. And I'm going to go ahead and pull out some of these drawers so that you can see. One of the things about these Bombay chests is that as a craftsman, you have to be an exceptionally gifted craftsman, because when you look at an early chest of drawers, you notice the sides of the drawers are attached to the front with joints that are known as dovetails. And in a normal straight chest of drawers, you have straight lines, but on this Bombay, the lines that you're creating to make these dovetails are slightly curved, and you have to adjust for that fact as you're cutting the dovetails and putting it all together. And this is one of just a handful of Bombay chests of drawers attributed to George Stedman that are still surviving today. And they're wonderful examples of the sophisticated craftsmanship that was happening here in Vermont in the early 19th century.
And some really wonderful inlay, original brass pulls, really a spectacular piece in the collection. So let's turn the corner, and I know that we're pretty excited to show you really, I think, one of the real true masterpieces in the collection this really fantastic half sideboard.
Yes, so this is a half sideboard, which is a form that is really specific to Vermont during the early 19th century. Sideboards were a kind of new innovation in the 18th century, and they were used in specific dining rooms. Dining rooms didn't really exist as independent entities before then, but these were used to hold linens, bottles, and the things that you would need to serve food and alcohol. This sideboard, recently attributable to a craftsman by the name of Rufus Norton in Windsor County, Vermont. And it displays again the level of kind of sophistication that these Vermont craftsmen. Wonderful inlay of a swag and tassel motif, very typical of the early 19th century federal period. And again, this chest retains its original silvered brasses. So typically you see brass hardware. These are brass that have been covered with silver, and these are the original silvered brasses. I'll go ahead and pull out this bottle drawer. So this is a drawer, and Josh, if you can come and look inside of it, you can see it's divided into 3 sections. So this is where they would keep their alcohol bottles and serve their alcohol from. You would have your surface up here where you can put your bottles down, pour them, and hand out your drinks. And again, it's just a magnificent example of early 19th century Vermont design and craftsmanship.
It's a really wonderful piece. And so here at these bottom drawers, if we carefully open up them, notice they even have really just, again, exquisite dovetails. Really, really beautiful piece of craftsmanship. And you can just imagine what it would be like to entertain your guests with pieces like this. So these were not only pieces that were served a practical purpose, they were also showcases. This was a piece that would display to people the wealth that this family had. It would be used obviously to store and make secure their alcohol, but it's a wonderful piece. And how can you not think about how wonderful that would be to have even in today's society? Just a really great piece. So there's lots of wonderful things here to see in our early Vermont history gallery. We can't wait for you to have the chance to come and see it in person. We'll just quickly go around the corner and I'll show you briefly some of the other highlights. It's a really wonderful thing. You could spend an hour or two just exploring all the incredible things here in this gallery. So that's it for today's Tour at 10. We can't wait to see you again soon. If you enjoy these videos, please consider supporting us in any way that you can. We really appreciate all the feedback that we've been getting and all the shares. Please share this video as much as you can, and mainly stay safe. Thanks again for joining us. We'll see you next time.